Another day, another story. The dishwasher was invented by Josephine Cochrane, an American inventor, in 1886. Frustrated with her servants' tendency to chip her fine china while washing it, Cochrane set out to develop a machine that could clean dishes more efficiently and safely. Josephine Cochrane's journey to inventing the dishwasher is a fascinating tale of necessity, innovation, and perseverance. Born in 1839 in Ashtabula County, Ohio, she came from a family of engineers and inventors, which may have influenced her technical mindset. After her marriage to William Cochrane, a businessman, she led a socialite life, hosting lavish dinner parties. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. At the time, dishwashing was a tedious and labor-intensive task, typically done by hand. While there had been earlier attempts to create dishwashing machines, none of them were practical or effective. Cochrane believed she could design something better. After her husband's death in 1883, she needed a new source of income, which further motivated her to pursue this project. With no formal engineering education, Cochrane turned to her mechanical skills and ingenuity. She sketched out a design that involved a motor-powered wheel inside a copper boiler. The wheel would spin racks of dishes, and jets of water would spray on them, effectively cleaning them without human effort. She made sure that her design addressed the shortcomings of previous dishwasher attempts, focusing on using water pressure to wash the dishes, rather than scrubbers. In 1886, she received her first patent for the dishwasher. Though initially skeptical, the hotel industry began to take notice of her invention, recognizing its potential to save time and labor. Cochrane began manufacturing her dishwashers and marketed them to hotels, restaurants, and hospitals, where the demand for industrial cleaning was higher. Her big break came when she exhibited her dishwasher at the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago, where it won the highest prize for Best Mechanical Construction, Durability, and Adaptation to its line of work. This recognition spurred more interest, and her invention began to gain popularity not only in commercial settings, but eventually among households as well, particularly as dishwashers became more affordable. Josephine Cochrane's contribution to household technology revolutionized kitchen practices. Her invention paved the way for modern dishwashers, making her a trailblazer not only in the world of technology, but also as one of the few female inventors of her time to succeed in a male-dominated industry. Her invention was the first mechanical dishwasher, which used water pressure rather than scrubbers to clean the dishes. She patented the design and showcased it at the 1893 World's Fair in Chicago. Although initially marketed to hotels and restaurants, her invention eventually became the foundation for modern home dishwashers. Cochrane's company later became part of the KitchenAid brand, a well-known name in kitchen appliances today. Josephine Cochrane had no formal mechanical engineering education, but she designed, built, marketed, and sold her dishwashing machine back in the 1880s. Cochrane founded her own company to manufacture and sell her invention and continuously improved it with new patents. After her death, the KitchenAid brand acquired her company and used her patents to build and sell its dishwashers. In the press, Cochrane showed marketing savvy by portraying herself as a wealthy woman who invented a dishwashing machine because she was tired of her multiple servants chipping her fine china. But census records suggest she didn't have multiple servants. Inventing the dishwashing machine. Josephine Garris was born in Ashtabula County, Ohio. An obituary after her death suggested she was born in 1839, while the age on her death certificate places her birth year as 1841. In 1858, she married William Apperson Cochrane, and they settled in Shelbyville, Illinois. Josephine Garris Cochrane's father was a civil engineer who worked with pumps and mill machinery, but she didn't have a formal mechanical education. To build her machine, she enlisted the help of a mechanic named George Butters. In 1886, she received her first patent for her dishwashing machine from the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office. After building her machine, Cochrane set out to manufacture and sell it. She tried using a couple of manufacturing firms before deciding to open her own manufacturing plant, with Butters as the foreman. In a 1912 interview with the Chicago Record-Herald, Cochrane lamented the problems she had encountered in the process early on. I couldn't get men to do the things I wanted in my way until they had tried and failed in their own, she said. Featured 9. Groundbreaking women inventors. Women inventors are behind a wide range of key innovations, from Kevlar to dishwashers to better life rafts. Selling an expensive new appliance, Cochrane sold her invention through her own Garris-Cochrane dishwashing machine company. Although she was able to sell it to some very wealthy households, most homes didn't have the hot water capacity needed to run the dishwasher. In her public interviews, Cochrane, or Cochrane, as she began spelling her name in the 1890s, was deliberate about how she portrayed herself. Cochrane was a savvy saleswoman, and there's evidence suggesting that not all of the stories she told the press were true, says Irene M. H. Harold, a professor and dean of libraries at Virginia Commonwealth University. When Harold wrote her master's history thesis about Cochrane, she noted the implausibility of some of Cochrane's claims. Harold found no servants listed at Cochrane's home in the 1870 census. In addition to promoting stories that elevated her wealth and class status, Cochrane didn't correct claims that her grandfather was steamboat inventor John Fitch. Though she did have a great-grandfather named John Fitch and a grandfather named Joseph Fitch, she and her relatives actually investigated this claim and found that neither of them were the same Fitch who invented the steamboat, Harold says. Invention finds new market after death. What's frustrating for Harold is that the myths Cochrane promoted often overshadow her real contributions. She was a remarkable woman with her real story, Harold says. She was not just the inventor, but she was also the manufacturer, the salesperson. She oversaw installations, and she continuously improved her invention through multiple patents. She supported many relatives both financially and as a caregiver, and used her business to further support them after her husband's death. Cochrane moved to Chicago in 1890, and 3 years later, she exhibited her invention at the World's Columbian Exposition along with other female inventors. She won a prize for her dishwasher and went on to exhibit at fairs in Massachusetts, New York, and Missouri. When she died in Chicago in 1913, she had 6 U.S. and 2 British patents to her name. After Cochrane's death, her company changed names and changed hands. Dishwashers remained a mostly commercial product until the 1950s and 60s, when they transitioned from an expensive extravagance to a common household appliance. The water pressure method that Cochrane pioneered persevered over earlier scrubber designs, and the Whirlpool Corporation, which acquired KitchenAid in the 1980s, still acknowledges her contribution today. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.